Hi, Jennifer Bleiker here, and I'd like to welcome you back to the Bleiker blog. Today I'll be discussing some key points following our consent building clinic, formerly known as Brown Bag Session, number 69. In that session, Hans discussed the topic of how do you regulate a public that's not okay being dictated to. And today I'm going to bring up a quick recipe on how to establish and maintain your legitimacy of your work, your program, your project, and even your agency, particularly if you are a regulatory agency or you administer regulation. The first criteria is that you must be working on a serious problem or addressing a real opportunity that's relevant to your mission. Secondly, the second criteria is that the public must see, know, feel, understand this. It's not enough to tell them. They have to know that indeed that is what you're working on. You are working on a serious problem or addressing real opportunities that are relevant to your mission. Now, most regulatory agencies actually shoot themselves in the foot by referring to themselves as regulatory agency or regulators. The problem with that is that the American public hears the word regulation and translates it into an entity that's anti-freedom, liberty, rights. That's really what you're going to be doing. You're going to be telling them what to do. You're going to be limiting their freedoms and rights. And that's not really what your mission is, of course, nor is it what your work is about. Your work is about solving problems, addressing opportunities. You have to get the public to conclude that. Let's look at another context. If you look at a surgeon doesn't go around saying that she cuts tissue. That's how she gets her work done, but the work she's actually doing is life-saving, life improvement. She happens to have to cut tissue to save her patients' lives or improve the quality of their lives, but what her job is not. It's not about cutting tissue. That's just the means to an end. I used to be a professional firefighter. Firefighters don't solicit themselves as soaking your furniture with water, tearing out your ceiling, ripping out your windows. No, firefighters are there to save lives, protect property, and they happen to do a lot of damage in the process of it, but really, that's their mission. And similarly, you must communicate that to your public. Get them to understand that you're working on a serious problem and that it's relevant to your mission. Now, let's look at an article from the USA Today from June 11, 2015. In that article, a senior planner from the city of Juneau, Alaska, was soliciting the help of the city assembly to help tighten some city ordinance about advertising. And the title of the article was "Downtown Storefronts Are Peppered with Illegal Advertising Signs." And the city planner was asking for the help to tighten and enforce these regulations. Apparently this was a city ordinance, and the citizens and shop owners who were hanging these advertisements were indeed violating the law. What they were doing was actually technically illegal. But what wasn't clear from the article is what was the problem? What's the problem that these advertisements are causing? And this is really common. It likely was causing a serious problem. It just wasn't clear what it was. And because that city planner hadn't articulated it really thoroughly, hadn't focused on this is a problem that these advertisements cause. It's not enough to say they're violating an ordinance. What's the problem? You have to go back to our second law of public administration, in which we say a serious problem is defined by one that will diminish someone's quality of life. Meaning, if this problem isn't addressed or this opportunity is lost, someone's quality of life will be diminished. And if your work doesn't meet that basic ingredients, that basic standard of addressing a real problem that's going to affect someone's quality of life, then you're walking on thin ice. And so looking at this article, use it as a reference for yourself. Don't make your own readers, your own public, go digging for what's the problem. Instead, be really clear in your ability to articulate The problem is whose quality of life will be affected by these advertisements for this Juno example. And don't expect the reporters to do a great job of articulating it for you. They're there to sell copy. They're there to sell papers and use good copy to sell it. And so it's your job to articulate what's the problem you're working on and help the public come to the conclusion you're a problem-solving entity. That's what you're really about. You're not really a regulatory agency. You're there to solve problems and address real opportunities, maximize those opportunities as best you can relative to your mission. So that's all we have for you today. We look forward to you joining us again soon. Thanks.